We regretted it badly. This old wreck of a ship was all we could afford. Everyone told us it should have been scrapped, but we didn't listen. For a desperate startup cargo company, it was the only option we had, to be fair. The ship had kept us going for 2 years, even though it ignored most of the care we gave it. But now here we were, stuck in a dry dock on some forgotten star system. The engine wouldn't start, the main drive refused to run, and the computer kept trying to send us off to nowhere. Every tool we used either broke something else or made no difference at all. Any attempt to fix the software got undone within hours. We'd given up. At this point, all we could do was wait for the harbor master to write us off, scrap the ship, and take a loss on the cargo. Then we'd drown our sorrows in the nearest bar. I sat on the bridge with 7 of my 8 crewmates. The Navy console kept shrieking at us, filling the silence with angry beeps. I looked around at my crew: outcasts, runaways, misfits, and the forgotten. I was their captain. My own pack had cast me out once I grew too old, and I drifted until I found these strays in a dingy club. Jess had lost 2 fingers in a fight with a Terry, and Ray and Rad, 2 brothers, had fled home only to be caught in gang wars. Laura and Amy were still young, with pasts I refused to speak about, though every man on board kept his distance from them. Oliver, our cook, was one of my own kind of Vulpenian. His wife Kayla, the only non-Vulpenian among us, was a felonid. Nobody cared. She sat on his lap as we waited for the harbor master to end our misery and strip away the last home we had left. The 8th member, Lars, was a war veteran with a scarred eye and too much anger to hide. He handled security and was currently scavenging parts in the dry dock. Being stranded in human space didn't help either. Humans scared most of the galaxy out for their war with the Rakondi. No one dared cross them, not even law enforcement. Then the proximity alarm went off, a different tone than the usual noise. I checked the screen. It was Lars, and he wasn't alone. He was bringing a human back with him. The human wore a strange uniform I had never seen before. I stood up and helped Lars pry the jammed airlock doors open. "Good day, Cap. I'm back. Miss anything?" Lars asked. "Not really, just more angry beeping," I muttered, pulling the door open. The human walked in silently. He was 2 feet shorter than the rest of us, almost easy to overlook. His outfit was unusual. A scarlet robe made from polymer and animal hide, a hooded cowl, and a mask over his face. He leaned on a massive wrench-shaped staff. Underneath the robes I spotted wires and cables running into his body, clear signs of heavy biomechanical work. He looked around for a while, then raised his head toward me. Without a word he bowed and stepped toward the bridge. Was this the harbor master? No. From what Lars said, he was a mechanic he'd met while searching the parts yard. Lars had told him about our failing ship, and the man offered to take a look. He double-checked that the airlock was sealed. "We can't afford his consultation," I muttered. "We're already barely surviving." I sighed and followed him to the bridge. What other choice did we have? As humans say, between a rock and a hard place. If we miss this cargo delivery, the Huanti Empire will sue us. If we go home, we'll be executed. And if we stay, we'll be buried in human bureaucracy. We both shuddered at the last thought. On the bridge, the human stood in silence. He moved slowly from station to station, waving his hand in front of machines as if he could sense something. At times he plugged a cable from the device on his arm into the consoles, waited, then moved on without a word. For nearly an hour, he inspected the ship. Wherever he went, strange things happened. Screens we thought were dead suddenly lit up with unfamiliar code. The drink machine, broken for years, came alive and spat out a can. Consoles that never worked started functioning again. Even an old computer bank powered up for a few minutes when he passed by. When he found a jammed gear inside one machine, he realigned it with ease. The system immediately booted up. Then he flipped a switch that had always been useless, to our shock. The ship's hidden backup life support system roared to life, something I'd never discovered in all my years aboard. We grew uneasy. The only sounds from him were his footsteps, the hiss of his breathing mask, and the occasional faint hum. When he reached the reactor, he suddenly shifted into a combat stance. He held his wrench staff like a weapon, the sharpened end pointed at the fuel port. From a compartment, he produced a glowing blue capsule and slid it into the tool. Standing firm before the reactor, he shouted, "In the name of the machine spirit, I command you seize this heresy and return to the Iron Lord." He struck the reactor casing 3 times. Each blow sent ripples of blue and purple energy through the ship. Darkness swallowed us for 2 minutes. Then the reactor roared back to life. One by one, systems we thought were lost returned. Life support hummed steadily. Monitors glowed bright. The airlock cycled cleanly. Even the starboard thruster, dead since we bought the ship, ignited and powered up. The shields flared with a blue glow, and the ship was suddenly alive with the hum of working machines. For the next 10 minutes, the ship filled with the sound of systems powering up as if nothing had ever been wrong. Ray and Jess could barely contain their excitement. They raced through the readouts, discovering features of the ship they never knew existed. In just a few minutes, the vessel worked like it had just rolled fresh out of dry dock. The human returned to the bridge, silent as ever. He removed the glowing device from his wrench staff. Its light had turned a deep, unsettling purple. Carefully, he sealed it in a container and clipped it to his belt. With a wave of his hand, the ship shifted into standby mode. The kind meant for station maintenance. This time, he began working directly, typing commands, scanning readouts until finally, he seemed satisfied. "The machine spirit has been punished for its defiance," he said in a distorted, mechanical voice. "Its demands have been met. But note the following." He handed me a datapad. I read it aloud. "Starboard thruster must be Repla backup. Life support needs a new oxygen scrubber. Defensive turret requires a new barrel. Melody's core requests fuzzy dice." The last line made me stop. Fuzzy dice. I stared at him in confusion. "The ship's soul name is Melody's call," he explained. "Every vessel has both a birth name and a soul name. The fact that she revealed it to you means she trusts you and she wants fuzzy dice." He rummaged through a pack on his back and pulled out a pair of fabric-covered cubes tied together with a cord. He hung them from the ceiling in the center of the bridge. To our shock, the ship seemed to respond. Metal groaned faintly, like a long sigh of relief, and then the noise dampeners kicked in. Beyond a few beeps, the ship fell into silence. "Walk always in the light of the void," he said. Then he bowed, stepped through the airlock, and left without a sound. Within 2 days, we completed our delivery without a single issue and secured 6 months of steady contract work. The reactor grew stronger, the shields more resilient, and the ship performed maneuvers we once thought impossible. Ray and Jess even built a small shrine in front of the reactor, modeled after the emblem on the human's cloak. Every Sunday, Ray would tap the reactor 3 times with a socket wrench. The ship served us faithfully for 30 more years before it ever gave us trouble again.